Hello! In this video, I am going to be going over 2 by 2 digit multiplication using partial products. And what that's going to look like is similar to how I set up the 3 by 1 and 4 by 1 partial products, so it looks like the standard algorithm. I'm going to do the same thing here. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, please look at videos 3 and 4. And it'll give you a better idea of what I mean by that. Okay, let's say I wanted to find the product of 42 times 27. What I'm going to do is I am going to set this up so it looks similar to the standard algorithm. So vertically like this. And then I'm going to break down each of the partial products as I am multiplying. So I'm always going to start by multiplying in the ones place. So 2 times 7, if I started with that, I know that 2 times 7 is 14. And then I also need to multiply the tens place by 7. So I know 4 times 7 is 28, but because this is actually 40, that 28 becomes 280. Next, I'm going to move on to the tens place, and I'm going to multiply 20 times 2. No, I'd erased it a little bit. So 20 times 2, I could think of that as 2 times 2, which is 4, but because it's in the tens place, I'm going to add a 0 in my answer. So that would be 40. And then lastly, I am going to multiply 40 times 20. I can look at that as 4 times 2, which is 8, but because both of these are in the tens place, I need to add 2 zeros to my answer. So that would be 800. Now that I have each of the partial products, I can add them together to get my final answer. 4 plus nothing is still 4. 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 4 more is 13. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 8 more is 11. So 42 times 27 equals 1,134. If I go back and show you where each of these partial products came from, it would look like, starting in the ones place, 7 times 2 equals 14. 7 times 40 equals 280. 20 times 2, which gives me 40. And then 20 times 40, which gives me 800. So again, I'm setting this up because this will get us more familiar with the standard algorithm. But going back, you could still see where the partial products came from. All right, let's try one more. Let's do 68 times 24. All right, just like the last one, I'm going to set it up so it looks similar to the standard algorithm. So I'm going to set it up vertically. All right, I'm going to start in the ones place, so I'm going to multiply 8 times 4. And I know that is 32. Next, I'm going to multiply by the tens place. So 4 times 60. I know 4 times 6 is 24, but because I'm multiplying in the tens place, I need to add a 0 to the end. So that becomes 240. Next, I'm going to be multiplying the 10 on this side by the 1 over here, so 20 times 8. Again, I can think of that as 2 times 8, which is 16, but because this 2 is actually a 20, I need to add a 0 in my answer, so that becomes 160. And last but not least, multiplying the two 10s together, so 60 times 20. I know that 6 times 2 is 12, but because they're both in the tens place, I need to add 2 zeros in my answer. So that 12 becomes a 1200. All right, now that I have all of my pieces together, starting in the ones place, 2 plus nothing is 2. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 6 more is 13. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 more is 4, plus 2 more is 6. And then nothing plus 1 is still 1. So 68 times 24 is 1,632. Again, I can go back and show you where each of these partial products came from. So starting in the ones place, I multiplied 8 times 4 to get 32. Then I multiplied this one by this 10. 4 times 60 to get 240. Then I went over to this 10 and multiplied by this 1. So that was 20 times 8. And then I multiplied these two 10s together, which was 20 times 60. All right, as you get more familiar with the different parts of multiplying 2 by 2-digit numbers together, you will not have to do all of these steps, but this is a really solid way to make sure that you are being careful, checking your work, keeping everything organized, and then as you keep practicing, you can start to, remove some of these pieces as it is best for you. Look for the assignment on Canvas for this, and the next video will focus on 2 by 2 digit multiplication using the standard algorithm.